Hey guys, I did tarot journaling for a month straight, and I wanted to share the benefits I got out of it. And they aren't very obvious at first. I didn't realize all the benefits as I was first starting off. So I wanted to really put some awareness around my experience of going through the process, and that way I could better communicate those benefits to you because I could feel them. Just putting them into words, I think, are going to help you understand what I really got out of it. So, first of all, what do you need to tarot journal? And my friend Scarlet has an awesome video on how to start tarot journaling. So if you do want to watch that, also I'll include the link down below. And yeah, all you really need is your own journal. I got this cool Spirit Wolf journal for myself, and then your tarot cards, obviously, and pen and pencil. We also have an awesome printout, which you can get on our website. So you can print out these pages, and of course, they'll be blank. Mine is a little filled out from my entries, but you'll be able to print this out and you can glue them into your journal. You can staple them together, whatever works for you, and it's going to make it a good process for you. So choose that at the beginning, and then you'll be all set up for each day. And then choose a time of day when you're going to sit down with your tarot cards to really just self-reflect. So do you have time in the morning for 5 or 10 minutes, or is it better for you at night before bed? Find a time that works for you. Obviously, if you're feeling very rushed in the morning, it's going to be a little bit difficult to start that habit, but it might actually be more beneficial if you're rushing, and overwhelmed and stressing yourself out before the day even begins, to set aside those 5 to 10 minutes to chill out, clear your mind for a moment, ask what's really going on, and tune into yourself. That might actually help the stress level in the morning go down. Let me know if that does help, because I think that helped me a lot. So the first benefit I think that many people know already about tarot is that it is great for shadow work or inner child work. This is a process that is considered quite a bit like therapy or therapeutic processes, but really, this is all the stuff that we've been ignoring and suppressing or denying for whether it be a week or years and years since your childhood. So there's a lot of stuff that we may have not realized we still have going on, and can lead to things in our daily lives that when we get triggered, it'll come up as an issue. So really, this is a great way to dive into resolving those emotional triggers from your childhood, or even just something that happened last week. So when those things are in denial or we suppress them, we just don't address them, that lesson will keep coming up. And tarot will show you that lesson also, so that it's very much right in your face, hard to ignore. Sometimes we ignore it anyways, because that's just our ego getting in the way. But let's try and see, for example, if I pick a card right now. So 9 of Wands. I'll try to put up a better version of this so you can see it better. But for instance, if I'm doing shadow work or inner child work and this comes up, I might want to ask myself, when do I get to a point in working on something that I feel blocked or stuck? Like there's an obstacle in my path. So it's working through obstacles. And I would start to analyze and take notes on how I actually handle overcoming these big obstacles to get something completed. This is a very action card because it's wands. Wands is fire, our willpower. So there might be a block, and block is a harsh word, but there might be something that is a resistance or a stagnation in energy that's coming up when trying to accomplish something. So that is a really great gateway. And one of the reasons why we call our deck the Key Tarot, because it's a great opening to a new door into realizing something that you can resolve within yourself. And then anytime in the future, when you are trying to get something done and these obstacles come up or these resistances come up, how do you handle those in the future based on all the shadow work you've overcome? So it's a very interesting process in itself. A lot of therapies work through these processes as well. If you look up shadow work or inner child work, we could probably talk about that alone for hours on end. If you guys do that, let us know. Do you use tarot for shadow work or inner child work? And how's that going? Is it really helpful in that area? Are you struggling with that? What's going on? Second benefit is mental stimulation. I don't think people consider tarot as something they think of like comparable to Sudoku or crossword puzzles, but really it is a fun way to stimulate your mind because it is bringing up strategic thinking, pattern recognition, memory. I mean, there's 78 cards of themes that you have to somewhat remember. Like you can base a lot on your intuition and images that come up that you've recognized, which is pattern recognition, but also memory, because if the same cards come up, you'll remember what they were about before. So you'll be able to expand upon that as you go along. So what do I mean by pattern recognition or strategic thinking with tarot? So let's take a look at some cards here. All right, so we've got an 8 of Cups. I'm just pulling up random cards, whatever comes up here. And so memory, you might remember that cups, you might have it in your memory that there's the different suits and that cups is water. And that has to do with emotion. So right away, this image brings up those words that I have memorized from the past. These themes will come up again and again in tarot, and eventually it will become part of a base, almost like a glossary for yourself. So what else do I see? I see the cups, obviously. I see a girl or a figure walking away from these cups, like leaving this emotion. So right now you can see I'm strategically thinking of like what's going on in this scene and analyzing. I'm analyzing the scene, and it's sort of like being a detective. So the figure is leaving, walking away from these emotions. Somewhat, it seems like, oh, these things all fell over, and I need to like move on, right? That's what it feels like to me, and it's showing through the gestures of the objects in the figure. So right now, that whole process you just watched is me analyzing the scene and thinking of what could those things mean? Where have I seen them before in my life? Because why would I recognize, cups falling over as something like a disappointment? Don't cry over spilled milk. So you see, I'm like remembering and strategically thinking about how this all relates together from things in my past. This is all great for your mental stimulation, and it is going to keep your mind sharp, and it's going to help you in real life as you're analyzing scenes and trying to put two and two together. So I think that's like a surprising benefit people do not talk about much, but I'm definitely planning on talking about that stuff more because mental health is so important. I have, plenty of experience with working on mental health. So I definitely love talking about that. I'm obviously not like mental health professional, like a therapist or psychologist, but I think it's really important for everyone to dive into those topics so that they can keep their mind sharp, like they keep their bodies fit and your emotions well. Everything holistically is working for positive progress. All right. Third benefit of tarot reading and journaling each day is that you are practicing your natural born gift of creative expression. A lot of people don't think that they're creative people, but really, every single person on this planet, if you're a human being, you're creative. You're constantly putting in motion the creative process, which I heard recently, a great quote from some doctors that I will link down below. I'll link everything. I don't have it off of memory, and I don't want to like distort this stream of consciousness. So they were talking about what is creativity. It is the combination of divergent and convergent thinking. Divergent thinking being kind of like that rebellious side of yourself that's like, I want to think a little bit differently, uniquely. I'm going to try something experimental. It is not going down a path that is, consistent with things that have happened in the past. It's like that other quote that's like, take the road less traveled. So that's a divergent thinking. And that's required in creative thinking because you need to sort of, quote, think out of the box. And I'm using a lot of cliches right now. That's not thinking out of the box. But you get what I mean. So practicing our natural born gifts with creative expression is going to help that flow become more natural. And just like the practice in mental stimulation, you're going to be practicing this creative flow state that I love talking about. And when you're in that creative flow state, you're getting inspiration, you're getting motivation, you're getting all kinds of energies working through you. And then you, as your human magician slash manifester abilities, where you can actually express that outward into this reality. And so that can look like a lot of different things. That could be artwork, that can be writing, that can be dancing, singing, even speaking. Right now, I am communicating things from all over the place out to you all. So this is that practice of creative expression, right? I'm taking everything I know and all my experiences and wisdom and expressing it outwards towards you. So this whole process right now is a creative expression. Tarot journaling, when you're actually writing and doing all that like analyzing and you're putting your ideas into motion, and that flow is just working through you all the way through your arm, through the pen onto the paper. That is part of that process because you are using everything together to just express outwards. And that practice is going to get you better into tapping into it. And you'll just be so surprised at how much this benefits you in your work situation, in your relationship situations, when you are trying to express yourself authentically, truthfully, and with great communication. So yeah, let me know this, like if journaling more and free writing and doodling, you can even doodle around on there if that's fun for you. Make it fun. And let me know if you guys are really sharpening that tool for yourself, because it's really cool to see after 30 days just how much is flowing out and how fun it can actually be. Sometimes, these things can get a little difficult if we're approaching our shadow side. And I think the creative expression part is where you can have a lot of fun. Like if you like stickers or highlighters or drawing things, like just fully take that fun part of yourself that you may have forgotten even in childhood. Did you love to go outside and play lots of games and express yourself that way? Like, find your like flow in it. So I think that could be a really fun way to tap into your playtime, your imagination, your inner child also. Tip number 4 is that announcing things out loud has its own magic to it. So if you are a believer or you've experienced things in your life, whether you believe in law of attraction or karma, or you've literally experienced the fact that you say something and you notice 10 things come back to you that were related to that. Now, we do have a lot of AI algorithms in our ads and stuff that shows, more data-driven, science-based proof of this, right? So like we've actually programmed computers to mimic this, where it'll tap into what you say, and you're talking about toasters for 20 minutes, and then all of a sudden the next day you get an ad for toasters. We're trying to program our computers to mimic this process, where we start talking to our network of friends about toasters. They're gonna just send us tons of stuff. Oh, I thought about you because you were talking about toasters. So you'll see now that I've talked about toasters for about 20 seconds, I'm probably going to get something related to toasters, which is unfortunate because I actually don't want anything related to toasters. So maybe let's cancel that out, right? Yeah, so you'll start to see as you are talking about things and expressing your truth and what you really want, you will notice those things starting to spread around because other people are paying attention to it, and you're going to actually start noticing anything related to those topics. So how does this relate to tarot reading and your journaling process? Okay, so let's say we're in the middle of a process of tarot journaling, right? And we just did all that work and we've got, I love this. I pulled 9 of Cups right now, and 9 of Cups is the wish card. So what are we wishing for? We're not wishing for toasters, okay? Maybe some of you are, but so it's really coming down to getting to the core of your desires, the core of those emotional releases. So when you start to write all the things that you're coming up with, like for instance, maybe there was an issue you just worked through. When I was discussing to you about shadow work and inner child work, I was mentioning we got the 9 of Wands, and that was reference to possible obstacles. So writing that down is the step one. You're writing down, oh, I've got these obstacles I got to work through. I'm going to be aware. So then the next thing is announcing what you want to do to resolve that issue. I am going to be aware of the obstacles in my life and I'm going to work through them with confidence and strength. So that's announcing out. It's kind of like an affirmation process. It is announcing something you're going to do. You're making it real. You're putting it into this reality. And that's the first step of like planting a seed for yourself. And as far as the wish card goes, you may be working out, oh, what is it that I wish for? The desire, everything's coming to me. I feel satisfied. What is that satisfaction feeling? I'm going to announce that I feel grateful and satisfied because I'm supported. I have food, I have family and home. And, naming those things out loud is announcing to your network, the universe, whatever you want to call your basic surrounding of, other things that are taking in input, whether that be your computer, your AI data driven algorithm, or the people around you as well. So what are you saying that you love a lot? So I'm going to announce some things like that, like I just mentioned, my home, I love my dog, I love this. So announcing those things, it's going to have that power, that magic to it, what I like to call magical manifestation for yourself. You're literally creating your reality as you speak out loud. So we put a little bit of an emphasis on speaking very well about yourself in the current moment and how you want to move forward. So try this practice at home where you, after you journal and you get all these things out, take an actionable step and an affirmation for yourself of how you're going to move forward and say those things, once or twice. Don't focus on it, but like act, add it into your daily routine of announcing those things that you want or those things that you're releasing. And try not to put too much stress around it, but when you start to talk about it casually to people with your passion, people are going to notice and they're going to want to help you out every time they notice something, and you're starting to plant those seeds, right? Benefit number 5. This one's going to be a tough one to hear, guys, but I think it's really one of those things that once you learn it and are okay with learning it, and okay with not just learning it, but understanding and embodying it and practicing it for yourself, it is that tarot will reveal the reason for all of your problems if you're willing to accept it. What is the reason for all of your problems? What is the reason for all of our problems? Hint. It's so harsh, right? It's so harsh, but as honest friends like to give truth bombs, and sometimes those truth bombs hurt. And tarot is no different. Tarot is like a sassy, loyal, honest best friend, the one that you invite to ask, how does this look on me? And you know they're going to be so truthful. If it looks terrible, they're going to tell you. So tarot is the same way. It is going to let you know, this is coming from something within you, and you can work on it, and that's okay. And we are learning to accept that. And how is that a benefit besides just a lesson? Well, lessons are benefits, right? But also you're going to be able to move so much more quickly and easy through life when you aren't blaming everything else for your problems. You're never going to solve them if that's the case, right? So if I'm just going about my day and someone, you know, cuts me off in line or on my drive, and I just blame them, I'm angry towards them, I'm not doing a service to them or myself by blaming them. So, you know, we say a lot of like things about forgiveness and compassion, but really if you are having are you having trouble with, you know, forgiving all the time? I understand like that's come up for several people I've talked to. How do I forgive? I can't forgive. I'm too angry. This theme of not being able to forgive. Let's turn that around for a moment. As tarot often does, it turns it around and it reflects back to us something we need to work on in ourselves that will help us through this process. So when you ask, how do I forgive? I have too much anger. It's going to address that and say, let's work on the anger. Let's work on where this is coming from. And that inner reflection, that mirror is tough to work through sometimes. But every time I see it, I laugh because I know I'm like, yep, it's me. It's that thing that I did. So this might be, you know, hard to get to at first. And that's why the practice is there, because it's not going to come that easily on that first date for some people. To accept the finger pointed at themselves is not easy. It's not a one-day thing. So working through that, taking your time with it, and realizing that this is a process, that anything does, you know, take its time. If you really want to change, put that why in front of it. And so this is my suggestion at the end of these 5 benefits. My suggestion is give yourself the time and space, love, compassion, and grace to go through this process for yourself, because some parts might not be easy, and that's okay. And you'll want to give up maybe sometimes, and you won't want to do it other times. That's okay. Forgive yourself for not being a, you know, perfect scheduled robot that just does everything consistently all the time. My other suggestion for this is, like I said before, with the creative expression, is to add in fun. Make it fun for yourself, whatever that means. Does it mean lighting a candle, playing some nice music, singing along while you're writing, making it into a poem, dancing out the tarot card? You know, what is a fun experience that you can add into this so that it, you know, if you are adamant about doing it every day, what is something you can do to make it a little different? So I'm the type of person that if I have to do the same thing every single day, I get a little bored, or I might want to try something else. So that tip really helps me, because I can be like, well, today I'm going to play some music and that's going to be something different. Or tomorrow I might, you know, add some aromatherapy in it and then do some essential oils or something while I'm doing this. Or maybe I'll think about things and sing in the shower. I don't know. So that helps me to do something every single day, switch it up a little bit and make it fun. But yeah, I would love to see how this goes for you and this process. And I'll be making more announcements about tarot journaling and how you can get involved with sharing with us. But right now we do have our Instagram community for sharing, where we can use our hashtag, the key tarot, and obviously username at the key tarot. And I'll include all these things below. We just want you to, you know, benefit on your tarot journey, and definitely use this as a fun way speak about it with your friends. If you are a tarot reader and you're not sure how to explain the benefits of tarot reading to people who are really skeptical or have never heard of it or don't know how to approach, this is, I feel like, a pretty light, not too hard to grasp communication around it. And if we can expand upon the communication around tarot, it's going to really help integrate it into our communities so that they can get the benefits too. So yeah, let us know what you think. And thank you so much for visiting and viewing. Hope you enjoyed. And thank you so much for your support.